Take out Kim now, Trump begged to act against North Korea before missiles blast US. The US should do almost whatever it takes to halt Kim Jong-un from acquiring deadly nuclear weapons, a former presidential hopeful and top Republican senator has blasted. As war talk between Washington and North Korea ramps up, with Pyongyang warning it would sink U.S. aircraft carriers in the Japanese Sea, Marco Rubio has issued a stark warning to the U.S. government. The Florida senator discussed the prospect of a devastating conflict with the belligerent North on news program Face the Nation on Saturday. While stopping short of calling for military action against tyrant Kim Jong-un, Mr. Rubio painted a grave picture of the threat posed by the communist state. He said, "Obviously, we have to ask ourselves a very fundamental question. And that is, it is acceptable, can we live in a world where Kim Jong-un possesses not just nuclear weapons, but the ability to deliver those weapons against the continental United States? Can we live in a world like that? If the answer is no, then the options, and the answer is no for me, then the options before you are truly quite limited. And none of them are good." Mr. Rubio, who was defeated in the Republican primaries last year by current President Donald Trump, added, "We must do almost whatever it takes, just about anything, to prevent Kim Jong-un from acquiring the nuclear capability he can deliver against the mainland of the United States of America." Calls from high-ranking politicians to carry out military action against North Korea have been increasing as the perceived threat from the hermit state grows. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham last week asserted the U.S. should carry out a preemptive strike in order to prevent dictator Kim's scientists from developing an intercontinental ballistic missile. Referring to East Asia, Mr. Graham said, "It would be terrible, but the war would be over there, wouldn't be here. It would be bad for the Korean Peninsula. It would be bad for China. It would be bad for Japan, be bad for South Korea. It would be the end of North Korea. But what it would not do is hit America, and the only way it could ever come to America is with a missile." Pyongyang last week vowed to wipe the U.S. off the face of the earth amid lurid claims Donald Trump is moving chemical weapons the North's border in an attempt to dominate the world. Muslim cadet refuses to remove hijab, military college wipes smug grin off her face. Muslims have no respect for American culture or history, and they have no intention to assimilate. Luckily, our military is not prepared to appease any Muslim demands. A Muslim student, who is about to attend a historic military academy in South Carolina, is attempting to force the school to allow her to wear a hijab. The school refused her request and told her she is not above the rules. The military college, the Citadel, has a long history and has operated as a school for 175 years. It has not allowed an exception to the dress code once in its entire history. Now, an entitled Muslim student is demanding the school break tradition and guidelines to support her religion and protect her feelings. The Citadel's dress code is strict. Students are required to be in uniform at all times while on campus, with only 2 exceptions. They may wear bathing suits while swimming, and be out of uniform during a furlough, which only upper-year students enjoy. The Academy's president announced the decision earlier this week, explaining that the standardization of cadets in apparel, overall appearance, actions, and privileges is essential to the learning goals and objectives of the college. This process reflects an initial relinquishing of self, during which cadets learn the value of teamwork to function as a single unit, the president said, justifying the almost 2-century-long guideline. The Citadel allows for religious accommodation so long as it does not undermine the objectives of the school, such as morale, health and safety, or good order. Breaking unit cohesion for a headscarf is not acceptable. The Muslim student is not accepting the school's decision in good spirit. Instead, she is suing the school with the support of the terror-funded Council of American Islamic Relations. She says the lawsuit will go through unless the school allows her to attend in a hijab. The Muslim-led attack on our historic institutions is being launched in an attempt to undermine our history. Muslims have convinced short-sighted liberals to abandon their principles in the name of protecting the supposedly oppressed. The Muslims are not fighting for equality, as the school policy treats people of all faiths equally. Instead, they demand special privileges for only themselves. This is a part of the process known as creeping Sharia, where Muslims are able to trick a country into adopting Sharia law one principle at a time. The school informed the student that they are happy to have her attend if she arrives bareheaded, which is more than fair. Our military doesn't make exceptions for anyone, and that's one of the reasons it's the best in the world. Do you agree with the school in blocking the Muslims' demand? Please share the story on Facebook and tell us what you think because we want to hear your voice. Breaking, Sean Spicer, all Trump's tax records are now available and in a safe place. Comments. Sean Spicer, Trump's tax records are now available in a safe place for all to see. CNN reporter, where is that? Sean Spicer, they're underneath Obama's college records, his birth record, his passport application, his immigration status as a student, his funding source to pay for college, his college records, his selective service registration, and Hillary's email log and 66,000 missing emails. I am so sorry, we could not help ourselves. Like that one? Here is another that did very well at Joe for America. Trump offers Hillary Clinton a key role in his new administration. In an unprecedented move, newly elected GOP President Donald J. Trump has extended an olive branch to his Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton. After a brief discussion by phone this afternoon, Trump said that he and Hillary had agreed that she would join his administration in January in a very important capacity. On September 10, 2017, Mrs. Clinton and her administrative assistants Huma Abedin, Weiner Danger and John Podesta will be sent to the Middle East to fill a vacancy left by the Obama administration. Clinton will assume the role of ambassador to Libya and will serve in the city of Benghazi. When asked for comment about this new opportunity, she replied, "What difference, at this point, does it make? In the current political climate, some brevity is much needed." Here is a bit more. President Obama to the Queen. Your Majesty, how do you run such an efficient government? Are there any tips you can give me? Well, said the Queen, the most important thing is to surround yourself with intelligent people. Obama frowned, and then asked, but how do I know if the people around me are really intelligent? The Queen took a sip of champagne. Oh, that's easy, you just ask them to answer an intelligent riddle. Watch. The Queen pushed a button on her intercom. Please send Tony Blair in here, would you? Tony Blair walked into the room and said, Yes, Your Majesty. The Queen smiled and said, Answer me this please, Tony. Your mother and father have a child. It is not your brother and it is not your sister. Who is it? Without pausing for a moment, Tony Blair answered, That would be me. Yes. Very good, said the Queen. Obama went back home to ask Joe Biden the same question. Joe, answer this for me. Your mother and your father have a child. It's not your brother and it's not your sister. Who is it? I'm not sure, said Biden. Let me get back to you on that one. He went to his advisors and asked everyone, but none could give him an answer. Frustrated, Biden went to work out in Congressional Gym and saw Paul Ryan there. Biden went up to him and asked, Hey Paul, see if you can answer this question. Your mother and father have a child and it's not your brother or your sister. Who is it? Paul Ryan answered, That's easy, it's me. Biden smiled, and said, Good answer, Paul. Biden then went back to speak with President Obama. Say, I did some research and I have the answer to that riddle. It's Paul Ryan. Obama got up, stomped over to Biden, and angrily yelled into his face. No, you idiot. It's Tony Blair. Tony Blair, breaking, Kim Jong-un just gave himself a death wish. This is not good. North Korea just threatened to sink a U.S. carrier in order to show how strong its military is. 2 Japanese ships joined a U.S. strike group in the Philippine Sea. Our revolutionary forces are combat ready to sink a U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with a single strike, according to North Korea's ruling Workers' Party's newspaper. The paper then called the USS Carl Vinson a gross animal and said that striking the carrier would be an actual example to show our military's force. He said North Korea has to conform. According to Fox News, analysts think that North Korea is gearing up for a sixth nuclear test. North Korea is working to make nuclear-tipped missiles that'll reach the US coastline. This is horrible. Let's give Trump a giant thank you for protecting us and share this if you are glad Trump is our president. HT Fox News. This state Senate opened with Muslim prayer. What happened next shocked everyone. The state Senate in Delaware just opened with an Islamic prayer. The imam that led the prayer then proceeded to pick his nose when the Pledge of Allegiance came on. This isn't the first time that we have seen liberals bow down in the path to cultural enrichment. When President Trump sat in attendance at the Washington National Cathedral in D.C., the imam who prayed cursed Christians and Jews in Arabic during his opening prayer. This country was built on religious tolerance. Although, is it tolerant when a large segment of Islam wants to kill Christians and Jews? The people of this country are tired of the false song of globalism. We only want people in this country that want to be here and want to help make this country greater. Share this if you agree. Jeff Sessions has had enough of Paul Ryan. What he just said will ruin him. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has had enough of Paul Ryan pussyfooting around. He does not expect the Mexican government to pay for Donald Trump's border wall. He says there are a bunch of ways to get the billions of dollars that would be needed to build the wall. Sessions made these comments in an appearance on ABC's This Week because the border wall will be built. He made sure that everyone knew it too. We're going to get it paid for one way or the other, Sessions said. Trump then took to Twitter to say that the wall would stop drugs and the horrible MS-13 gang. Trump then promised during the campaign that he would get Congress to pay for the wall, but Paul Ryan and the rest of Congress have been dragging our feet. HDCNN. Thanks for reading and as always have a great Sunday.